In case you weren't already aware, I love complaining, and there is no end to the things I could complain about in this game, and we may get to them in due time. But for now, I want to talk about the feats in Frogner, something I feel isn't completely overpowered, but I feel as though it's worth discussing. And what's a feat? Well, go to the timestamp in this video, because I'm not explaining twice. For about 90% of them, I think feats in this game are completely fine. I think they add just enough chaos in the game to keep things fun and exciting without being too overpowered. With that being said, though, there are a few feats in this game that I think are either underwhelming or just straight up overpowered and need some serious rebalancing. And if there's one thing I learned in life, it's that I need to be the change I want to see in the world. And since most YouTube videos that talk about balance issues are just people pussyfooting around the issue, saying things like, it's pretty much fine, or you can totally counter it if you use this one obscure and niche technique that only applies to this one situation, and thinking like that is the exact reason we're still stuck with this lard ass. So I've written down some of the feats that I think could use some changes and potential fixes for them to make them either more applicable in more situations or tone them down so they don't ruin my fun. Body count makes it so that when you kill one of them little minion buddies, you regain 1 health and 1 stamina. Sounds pretty good, right? No. Because there are multiple minions jabbing you at once, they're gonna do a whole lot more than 1 point of damage, which they do with just a single basic minion. And oh boy, 1 stamina per kill? Yeah, it's not like that's gonna make up for the zone you did to kill half of them that ruined half your stamina. Yeah, sure, that's so fucking useful. Now, I don't really care about the stamina part. No, I doubt most people even realize that it regenerates your stamina. What I want to fix is the health part. I think it should be buffed to maybe, I don't know, something like 3 or 4 points of health, just to make up for the fact that you're getting fucking stabbed by multiple minions at once that also do more than 1 point of damage. I don't see why this is such a hard thing. Thrilling Comeback is a good feat in concept. It makes it so that every time you activate Revenge, you regain health. The problem with this one is that you only regain half a bar of health when you activate Revenge, which is just too little to make up for the fact that you're being attacked by multiple people at once. The only person this isn't a problem on is Pirates, because they have both Bounty Hunter and Indomitable, which gives them lots of extra chances in ganks to not die. The simple fix I would do for this one is just to increase the amount of health you get for all heroes to half a bar of health to a full bar of health, except for Pirate, because she already has so many other support feats, and I'm pretty sure Ubisoft can just change the numbers on all the heroes but one. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do that. My favorite, Funbreaker. I love using this feat, don't get me wrong, it's a fun as hell feat, but I have to admit that it might be just a teeny bit too good and can definitely use some tunings. Now, the things I would do for it, in case you actually don't know, is that it makes it so that when you use it on an enemy who has a shield, it just deletes that shield entirely and it's gone. This is really overpowered with somebody who has Revenge, because you just ganked them to whole hell, and when they finally get a chance to fight back, you just take that away and fuck them. Now, what some people don't know, and especially a lot of new players don't know, is that Funbreaker actually has a lingering effect. So say you use it on somebody who's about to get Revenge before they actually get it, it's going to actually linger for a little bit, so when they do activate it, they still won't get the shield because they have this full effect on them. It's not just a one-time instantaneous use. And that's probably the overpowered part of it, I would say, is to just get rid of that lingering effect, so it's just a one-time use, it's done and gone. So that's my fix for this feat, probably just get rid of that lingering effect. Or you could take it a step further and make it so like it only removes half the shield instead of the full shield. That might add a bit of strategy to it, where you get like half the shield down and then use it and you can finally go into attack. But I never have too much of a problem with Funbreaker. I say remove the lingering effect and it's just a really strong feat. If you want to go that extra mile, you could, but I don't really care either way. Shield Basher / Haymaker. Now, this feat I don't actually have a problem with at all. I think it's a perfectly fine feat. It makes it so your bashes do damage. The problem I have are the characters it's on, or I guess I should say not on, because it's not on Shigoki. Well, what are you saying, Aiden? You say Shigoki is overpowered, yet you want to give him a feat that makes his bashes do damage? Well, that's the thing, Hugabite. His bashes already do damage, and guess what? It actually does more damage than the characters who have this feat. So, the characters who have this feat are Gladiator, Centurion, and Conqueror. And when they have this feat, it's a tier 2 feat. It does 6 damage, I think, on all of them. So because it's a feat, they can't use it in duels and brawls, and when they do get it, it does 6 damage. Shigoki has this by default, and it does 10 damage. Yeah, 10 fucking damage, almost double what these 3 fuckers have, and it's not a feat. He just has it at all times, no matter what. Now, I think this character is fucking overpowered as shit. I don't like fighting against him. I hate his hyper armor, I hate his damage numbers, I hate that he can heal by default, and I hate the bash that does damage. But something that would just give me a small bit of respite, just make me a little bit happy, is just remove that damage on the bash and make it a feat. Just make it the feat. It's not that hard. Just make it the feat and reduce the damage to 6 like it is on all the other heroes. I don't know why this is a problem. I don't know why the others have to make it a feat and do less damage than this fucker who has it by default and does almost double the damage. It makes no sense. Just make it the feat. It's not that hard. Just make it the feat. All right, I'm good. I'm calm. I'm done yelling. I'm done getting angry. Let's just move on to another feat. Unblockable. Fuck. So this feat is bullshit. I'm just gonna say that now. This feat's on Kensei. He's the only one that has it. And what this little fucker does is it makes all of his attacks unblockable. Every single one. Heavies, dodge attacks, light attacks. Oh yeah, light attacks. Ooh, yeah, he can just triple a light attack with an unblockable. And also the chains have hyper armor because fuck you. Now, as bullshit and overpowered as this feat is, and I wish it just didn't exist, I have one small tweak for it. One small one that I think would just make it so much less frustrating to do. And that's just give it the Zanhu treatment. So in case you don't know, all of Zanhu's finishers are unblockable, both heavies and lights. And you're probably thinking, well, Aiden, why does Zanhu get this but not Kensei? Aren't you being a little bit hypocritical? And no, the thing that makes Zanhu's from being overpowered is that the light unblockable finishers are just a little bit slower, just a little bit, enough to make getting a light parry a bit easier so as not to be overpowered. The problem with Kensei's is that nothing about this changes. They get that hyper armor triple unblockable light chain with no drawbacks whatsoever. So that's all I would recommend, is just make it so when Kensei uses the unblockable feats, all of their light unblockables are just a teeny bit slower like Zanhu, because the way it is now is just fucking unfair. And unless you're a light parry pro, you are going to die to this. You just will. There's no counterplay to it. You just will die. Senban Sakura is how I think you pronounce it, is a feat exclusive to Hitakuri. It's their tier 4 feat, and what it does is that when you activate it, it has a long wind up, but when it finally lands, it will just one-hit kill whoever you hit with it. Now, when this hero first released, it cannot be parried. The only way to counter this was to either dodge it or flip it with Vortiger, but now it's changed, so now you have to parry it. Or you don't have to parry it, but the option is there. I don't think you should be able to parry it, because it removes a lot of the skill required to avoid this attack. Well, what if it's to, help in ganks? Maybe it's to help people not get one hit during ganks. Well, newsflash, buddy, if someone's using it in ganks, you're gonna fucking die, because one of the teammates will see that they're using it and guard break you, so you can't either dodge, parry, or shield flip it. You'll just die. There's just no reason for the parry to exist. It should have just been how it was, where if it lands, it lands. If you dodge it, you dodge it. I don't know why they added the parry. I think people were just butthurt that they couldn't get good. Staggering blow. Hey, remember how I was talking about Shigoki and how he was overpowered? Well, I wasn't done complaining yet, because we got a new thing to talk about Shigoki. Yeah! This feat is completely busted in every single way imaginable, and if I had the option, I would just straight up remove it. At least with Unblockable, there's a fairly decent nerf I could give it, but this one is just complete bullshit. You know why it's bullshit? Basically what the feat does, I haven't explained that yet, is that it makes it so your heavy attacks will just knock everybody on the ground all the time. If it lands, they're just on the ground. And you know what? It has hyper armor. And you can charge it to be an unblockable, because fuck you. And because it has a wide range, if you lock onto somebody else and there's another enemy next to him, your wide range will hit them and still knock them on the ass. That's not overpowered? That's not overpowered? What? That's so overpowered. The only change I could potentially give to fix this is to not work on enemies you're not locked onto. But I don't know how programming works. I don't know if that's possible or not. It has to be possible. I don't see why it wouldn't. That's the only possible fix I could give to something like this. Otherwise, just remove it entirely. This feat just is a win button. It's a win button. You can't stop it. You will die to this if he's not locked onto you. If he's locked onto somebody else and using his wide range, you're dead. Alright, I think that's the last mention of Shigoki for this video. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Let's go move on to the next one, Indomitable. And I don't have a problem with this one entirely. I don't have a problem with its concept. Basically what it does is that when you're in critical health, you get an overshield, basically an extra chance to just not die. I don't have a problem with that. That's a perfectly fine feat. It's a tier 4, it's perfectly fine. The thing I have a problem with is that if you're getting healed while it's on cooldown, the cooldown is completely cancelled and you can use it again instantly. I don't like that too much. I guess it's fine when I'm using it, but obviously it's a pain in the ass when someone else is using it. So I think maybe just get rid of that instantaneous cooldown remover and I think it'll be fine. These are pretty much all the feats I feel need some retuning or need to be entirely removed from the game. I know it's not a long list, but as I said, feats really aren't all that broken. There's just a few bad apples in the bunch, but thankfully they don't spoil the whole thing. Now, unfortunately for you, dear viewer, this video is looking to end up a little too short, so I'm gonna go and complain about something else real quick to lengthen the time.
Yeah! Revenge!
Back off!
Revenge!
That's not cool! That's not cool!
Now don't get me wrong, I like the idea, and I think it should exist. It helps out people who are getting ganked, so they actually have a fair chance of fighting back. But like everything they touch, Ubisoft just couldn't help but mess this up too. The amount of revenge you gain scales by how much damage you're taking in the moment by multiple people, so theoretically, you could just get spammed by low damaging attacks like Kyoshin's Kaze Stance Lights, and you'll take so much damage before finally getting revenge that you'll just end up not wanting to use it because all it would do is prolong the inevitable, and you can make the argument that you're just stalling until your team arrives to help you, but the odds of your team actually doing something productive is the same as Rooster Teeth not killing off a fucking character the moment they show an ounce of intrigue. Sorry, I got off topic. What was I saying? Yeah, revenge. A simple fix I would implement is to increase your revenge gain per person that's ganking you. If there's 2, keep it as is. 3, well, I better start seeing some results from Thrilling Comeback. And if the whole team is on me, I better get the strength of the fucking Doomslayer the moment the fight starts, because even if I get revenge, the 4 of them could quickly melt my revenge shield so quickly or hit me with Funbreaker and send me into a fucking spiraling depression. As with all my opinions, they're just that. Opinions. And while they may be perfect and objective, that doesn't mean you must agree with them. Though does it really matter if we have these opinions? Does it matter if we even discuss changes and fixes for the games? Because, to be honest, it just feels like we're yelling into an echo chamber. It feels like Goopy doesn't even acknowledge our opinions, even from the bigger YouTubers. It feels like we're just all kind of ignored. Even if they rework the heroes people have been asking for, I wouldn't call them good, because if they have to release a change for the change weeks after releasing it, then I really wouldn't call that a good update. That said, Peacekeeper rework is a hill I am going to die on and will push for until either I die or this game does. Is this video even still about Feats anymore? Do any of you even care? Is anyone actually watching this video? Who knows? All I can say for certain is that I'm not gay. But Radagon of the Golden Order got me acting up!